All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another deep dive. You ready to go?
Always ready.
Awesome. Today we're looking at ASML Holding.
Oh, ASML.
Yeah. So this is a company that, honestly, I didn't know a whole lot about before we, started prepping for this. And it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one.
So, we got a bunch of sources from you guys out there listening. Thanks for sending those in. Looks like we've got like company profiles and financial reports and stuff like that. And the big question is always, should you buy this stock?
Right. Does it belong in your portfolio?
That is the question, right?
Yeah.
And to figure that out, we've got to understand, what are they doing? How are they doing it? What's the future look like?
So ASML is a really fascinating industry. It's
Yeah.
one that most people don't think about much on a day-to-day basis, but it is absolutely crucial to our modern lives.
Yeah, what is that?
They're in the world of microchips.
Oh, yeah.
Semiconductors, the tiny little brains that power everything around us, our smartphones, our cars,
Or dishwashers.
our dishwashers. Yeah, you name it. It's got a chip in it these days.
So they made chips.
Well, not quite.
Oh.
This is where it gets interesting. They actually make the machines that make the chips.
Okay.
So imagine like a super high-tech printing press, but instead of ink, it's using light to etch these impossibly small patterns onto silicon wafers.
Wow.
And those wafers become the chips we rely on for basically everything.
That's incredible. It's like a meta, they're not making the product, they're making the thing that makes the product.
Exactly.
So, okay, that's what they do. But like, why ASML specifically? Are there other companies that do this too?
Well, there are other companies that make chip-making equipment, but what sets ASML apart is they're pretty much the only game in town when it comes to the most advanced type of these machines called EUV lithography.
EUV?
Yeah, extreme ultraviolet lithography. It's cutting-edge stuff, and ASML has a virtual monopoly on it.
Oh, wow. Okay, so like even the biggest players in tech like Samsung or Intel or TSMC, like if they want to make the most powerful chips, they had to go to ASML.
That's right, they're the gatekeepers.
Wow, so they have a lot of power in that space.
And that power translates into some serious market value. We're talking a market cap of $281.44 billion. Billion with a B.
Goodness gracious.
That makes them the 34th most valuable company globally. Just to put that in perspective, that ranks them higher than Canon.
Oh, wow.
Which is a pretty big deal.
I didn't realize they were that big.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
So, okay, big market cap, big company.
Yeah.
But like, does that mean the stock is a good buy?
Well, market cap tells you about size, but it doesn't tell the whole story. We need to look at their financial performance, too.
Okay, what do we know about that?
Well, if you look back from 1996 to now, their growth has been pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
But there was a pretty significant dip in 2022.
Oh, what happened?
Well, the semiconductor industry, it's cyclical. It's affected by things like global economic conditions, supply chain disruptions, even geopolitics.
Yeah, right. All those crazy things going on in the world.
Exactly. So it's not a smooth ride.
Okay, so we've got some sources here, and it looks like there are some different opinions on how ASML is doing. Like, Zags gives them a hold rating with a C grade for value.
Interesting.
But then TipRank's analysts are predicting a potential 24% upside based on their price targets.
Okay, so we've got some conflicting viewpoints.
What do we make of that?
Well, I think it just shows that even with a company as big and successful as ASML, there's always room for debate.
Right. It's not a sure thing.
Exactly. Some analysts think the stock price might be inflated right now, while others are more bullish on their future prospects.
Interesting. Okay, so how do we start to figure out, who to believe, or like, where do we go from here?
I think a good next step is to dig into ASML's innovation pipeline.
Ah, their secret sauce.
Exactly. Because their ability to stay ahead of the curve is going to be key to their long-term success.
Makes sense. All right, let's do it.
Let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
So when it comes to innovation, one thing that struck me as I was looking through these sources is we don't have a ton of detail on like specific upcoming innovations from ASML.
Yeah, that's true. It would be cool to know, like, what crazy new tech they're cooking up in their labs.
Right, like are they working on even smaller wavelengths? Are they pushing the boundaries of what's possible with lithography?
Yeah, what's the next big thing?
Well, it's a little bit of a black box right now.
Mysterious.
But I think it's important to remember that ASML's dominance comes from their relentless focus on R&D. They're constantly pushing the envelope.
That's true.
So even though we don't know the specifics, I think it's safe to assume they're investing heavily in staying ahead of the game.
Okay, so maybe it's less about knowing the exact details of their next big invention and more about trusting their track record of innovation.
Exactly. They've earned that reputation.
Okay, I can buy that.
Yeah.
So innovation seems like a plus.
Correct.
But what about their their business strategy beyond just making these amazing machines?
Well, one area we could look at is acquisitions.
Okay. Yeah, have they been buying up other companies to boost their tech or expand into new markets?
That's a great question, and honestly, the sources we have are a little light on specifics.
Really, nothing about recent acquisitions.
Not a whole lot, but, we can still glean some insights by looking at industry trends.
Okay, how so?
Well, the semiconductor space is known for consolidation. Bigger fish swallowing up smaller fish.
Ah, the circle of life.
Exactly. It often happens so companies can gain access to new technologies or talent or, just eliminate competition.
Right, so it wouldn't be surprising if ASML is playing that game too.
Exactly, even if we don't have all the details right now.
Okay, fair enough. So acquisitions, jury's still out on that one.
Yeah.
What about their services business?
Yes. So, they don't just sell these machines, they also provide support and maintenance, which makes sense. These things are incredibly complex.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
You need experts to keep them running smoothly.
Right, like if my printer jams, I can barely figure out how to fix it.
Exactly. So imagine a machine that costs millions of dollars and is crucial to producing the world's most advanced chips.
We don't want to mess that up.
Not at all. So it stands to reason that those service contracts represent a significant revenue stream for ASML.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Those chips are in such high demand, these companies can't afford any downtime.
Right, the pressure is on.
So even though we don't have hard numbers, we can probably assume that their services business is pretty important to their overall profitability.
It's a safe bet.
All right, so we've talked about innovation acquisitions and services. Anything else we should consider when looking at ASML?
Well, I think it's crucial to zoom out a bit and think about the bigger picture, ASML's impact on the global economy.
Oh, yeah, we touched on that before, but it's worth digging into.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys are at the heart of the global tech landscape. Their ability to produce these advanced lithography systems directly impacts how many chips are out there and how much they cost.
And those chips power everything these days.
Exactly. Smartphones, computers, cars, appliances, medical devices, you name it.
So ASML's success or struggles have ripple effects way beyond just the tech industry.
It's true. They're a linchpin in the global supply chain.
That's pretty intense. It's kind of like they hold the keys to the future.
In a way, they do.
Wow. So on one hand, it seems like they're in a really powerful position, but on the other hand, it also seems pretty risky. Like if they stumble, could it trigger a domino effect across all these industries?
It's definitely a double-edged sword.
Okay, so let's try to sum this up for our listeners. What are the main pros and cons of investing in ASML?
Okay, so on the plus side, their global dominance is undeniable. Right, they're the undisputed leader in a market that's only going to become more important as our world becomes even more reliant on advanced chips.
Right. It's like investing in picks and shovels during a gold rush.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that translates into massive growth potential.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds pretty good. What about the downsides?
Well, their valuation is sky high right now, which makes some investors nervous.
Yeah, I get that.
They're worried about a potential bubble. And then there's that dependence on a few key customers. If demand from companies like TSMC were to slow down, that could have a big impact on ASML.
Right.
Yeah.
Their fate is tied to the overall health of the semiconductor industry.
Exactly. And then, of course, there are those geopolitical risks we talked about, trade wars, tech disputes, even potential conflicts. All of that could disrupt their operations.
A lot to consider.
It is. It's a complex picture.
Okay, well, hopefully this has given our listeners some food for thought.
I hope so.
But there's still more to discuss, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, stay tuned for part 3, where we'll tackle dividends, share buybacks, and a few other key things.
Oh, good. Let's do it.
All right, we're back for the final stretch of our ASML deep dive.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have, from their, market dominance to their financial performance, even those geopolitical wildcards.
We peeked into their acquisition strategy.
Did we explore their services business?
And we grappled with their massive impact on the global economy.
That's right. ASML is a fascinating company, to say the least. But before we wrap up, there are a couple more things I think we should touch on.
Okay, what's on your mind?
Dividends and share buybacks. Those sweet little perks that can make a stock even more attractive.
Ah, yes. Those are always important considerations for investors.
They are. They can tell you a lot about a company's financial health
Right.
and how much they value their shareholders.
Exactly. It's like getting a little bonus on top of your investment.
Right. So the question is, what's ASML's policy on these things?
Well, the truth is our sources don't really give us a clear picture.
Oh, really?
Nothing about their dividend policy or any share buyback programs.
Not a whole lot, unfortunately.
That's too bad. It would have been helpful to see how they stack up against other companies in the industry.
It would have. But hey, that just highlights the importance of doing your own due diligence, right?
Absolutely. This
Yeah.
is just a starting point. You always want to dig deeper and look for more information.
Exactly. Check out their financial statements, investor presentations, industry reports, all that good stuff.
Great advice. So, while we're on the topic of digging deeper, what about ESG factors?
Ah, yes. ESG, environmental social governance, right? More and more investors are paying attention to these things these days.
It's true. It's not just about profits anymore. It's about investing in companies that align with your values.
That's right. So how does ASML measure up on the ESG front?
Well, unfortunately, our current sources are a little bit silent on that too.
Really?
Yeah.
They don't say much about their sustainability initiatives or their social impact.
Not really, but again, that just means there's more research to be done.
Exactly. There are plenty of resources out there to help you evaluate a company's ESG track record.
That's right. Look for concrete actions, measurable results, and a genuine commitment to sustainability and ethical practices.
Good advice. So, okay, we've explored a lot of different facets of ASML today.
We have. It's been quite a journey.
It has. From their technological prowess to their global reach to those lingering questions about dividends and ESG.
ASML is a company of contrasts.
They are, but I think we can all agree that they're a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're shaping the future of technology.
And potentially the future of your portfolio.
Yeah, that's right. The decision of whether or not to invest in ASML is ultimately up to you.
It is. But hopefully this deep dive has given you the information and insights you need to make an informed decision.
We've given you the tools, now it's time to put them to work.
Exactly. So do your research, consider your investment goals, your risk tolerance, all that good stuff.
And remember, investing is a journey, not a destination.
Well said. So before we sign off, I want to remind everyone to check out our YouTube channel.
Yes, please do.
Hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, let us know what other companies or topics you'd like us to cover in future deep dives.
We're always looking for new adventures.
We are. So until next time, happy investing, everyone.
Happy investing!